This has to be one of the most terrifying premises I think I've ever seen. So I saw Hush, and wow. This movie needs to be more well known, because this has to be one of the most ingenious premises I've ever seen. So what's Hush about? Well, Hush is about this writer. She writes a lot of books. She has a hard time writing an ending for her newest book. So she goes to this secluded cabin in the middle of nowhere with really no one around her, and there's a killer in the woods. But here's the thing. She's deaf and mute, which means she can't hear or speak. So this killer basically could walk right behind her and make tons of noise, and she would be none the wiser. And he catches on fairly quickly. And the rest of the movie is her trying to survive, not knowing where this guy is because she can't hear him. And like I said in the intro, this has to be one of the best premises I think I've ever seen when it comes to a horror movie. Just the fact that you can be that helpless. Like, because this is more than a possibility where, you know, a deaf person doesn't know a killer's in the house because they can't hear him. And we've seen something similar to this with, I cannot remember the name of the movie, but it stars Audrey Hepburn, and it's a killer chasing after someone who's blind. And we had another variation of that with the movie Don't Breathe last year. Now, anyway, what makes this movie great? Like I said, the premise, the acting is really good. The actress that plays Maddie is very good. She has to convey the fact that she's blind and she's deaf and mute. I keep saying blind. The fact that she's deaf and mute when the actress isn't, and that's not easy to do. And she, you know, and the thing is, you think, oh, well, why can't she call the police? Why can't she do this? Well, that's because the killer takes her phone. You know, she has no internet, so she really is helpless. She can't do anything about it. And the guy that plays the killer, this guy is a stone cold psychopath, and it is so interesting. And you know, she tries to reason with him, saying, "Hey, you know, I won't say anything if you just leave me alone." He's like, "No, I want to kill you." And the whole movie is just basically a home invasion. And you know, this is what the movie Strangers tried to do but failed at. This movie is so much better than the Strangers, because everyone says all the Strangers, like, imagine like someone knock on your house and everything. To me, that's not that scary, because all they're doing is like, eh. This is something completely different, because the person has no idea whether the person is in the house or not, because they can't hear him. Now, imagine being that. And I guess the one thing sometimes, you know, when you're home alone, you get that paranoid feeling that, you know, someone might be watching you, but you're like, you know, you're playing it off because you don't hear anything, you don't see anything, so you kind of get a little worried. Well, if you can't hear anything, a person could be pretty much invisible, because that means they can make as much noise as possible and still not get caught. And that, to me, is so terrifying. The cinematography is great, the music's great. There's even a part, and this isn't a spoiler, there's a part where she locks the guy outside her house, and she's trying to run in her mind the different scenarios as to, you know, how she can survive this, or what she can do to kind of make it through this. And it's really interesting to watch that, to kind of watch how her mind works, because in the movie, her biggest problem is that she can never create an ending or can never solve a problem in her books. And like I said, it's not a spoiler. They say within the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's not a spoiler. And this movie was just amazing. Such good tension, and the guy was such a psychopath. But the one problem I had with this is there are parts of the movie where it does drag a bit. It does drag, and you're like, okay, come on now. And there are people that you think, okay, come on, they can't be that stupid. But those moments are very few and far between. This is a very good horror movie, and this movie came out in 2015. This isn't anything new. This is not a new movie. And this is one of the most underrated horror movies I think I've ever seen. And I'm surprised that no one knows about this movie. Because the only time I ever heard about this movie was like through YouTube videos saying, you know, this is an underrated movie. No one's ever heard of this movie. Well, I want this movie to be more well known. 9 out of 10. This movie was awesome. It was very scary, very tension filled, and more people need to see this movie. If you're a horror movie fan, you will love this movie. It is so good. It's so interesting to look at because this has to be one of the most ingenious premises I think I've ever seen or even heard of. Alright, thank you everyone for watching my review. If you want to watch my last one, it is over here. And I'll click my face right down below, subscribe. I try to upload at least once a week, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!